It's not. There we go. Go ahead.
I'm not a guest at this point. I'm
Go
on
ahead.
the
Yo,
board.
what's going
I'm on
on,
the panel.
guys? You already know the drill. It's the third podcast. You already know me. It's your boy Spawn. Obviously, your host Croak. What's up, Croak? How you doing?
Great. It's a good afternoon.
Awesome. And you already know we got our guest, Cuber.
Guess. At this point, I've been to every fucking podcast. I'm like guest.
You won't be for much
Because you're a
longer, but
chode.
anyway.
Oh!
I was joking,
Stop
but
your
man's called him
wheezing.
a chode.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Okay, so. Alright, so here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. Today we're talking about a lot. So we were talking about conspiracies the last couple days, and we had a lot of fun with that. So today we're talking about the impracticality and the practicalities of specific movie killers. Here's my thing, right? I'm gonna get into it. So I actually I fucking love the fact that I love the fact that you can take a killer that actually did some shit and put it in a movie, and I love their depiction of what would happen, because you got to think about it. We weren't there for the events that took place, clearly, but to see, to read it in a paper, to read it in a book, to visualize it and then put it on film, there's a lot of process that goes through it, and to kind of see, because everyone always says the book is different from the movie, we've all heard that, and it's kind of interesting to see that on screen. So we have a couple people. Who are you guys specifically talking about?
What?
Don't all jump at once.
Yeah, I'm like, I thought Spawn was gonna go here, dog.
Well, I am talking about not necessarily a movie, but about the unknown Zodiac Killer.
Sure.
Okay. What's special about him?
Well, number one, you just want me to go through the whole thing?
No, I mean
Well,
do you
okay.
want me to go first, or are you good?
Well, I mean, yeah, you go ahead and go first. I'll give my little thing about the Zodiac.
So, stop me along the way if you guys want, if you guys have something to say about it, because I absolutely have a whole thing. So first of all, the person I'm doing it on, his name, okay, is Ed Gein. Okay, he's first of all, a lot of movies have been sparked around this guy. Deranged, Psycho, The Shining. My favorite, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Obviously, I got the mask from the movie. That's Trick or Treat Studios mask. First of all, they're fantastic. Not sponsored, but if we were, that would be cool. Anyway, anyway, no, for real, what we're saying is this. So, Ed Gein, to me, is an interesting case, because the movie depicts him differently than, what he would actually be. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I made some notes here. And I want to kind of go over these notes. So, if we all have seen the movies, I'm assuming you guys have seen the movies. If not, I'll fill you in. Basically what happens is this small town in the middle of bumfuck nowhere has just a Hewitt family. Last name is Hewitt, Thomas Hewitt, right, in the movie. Or Jedediah Taylor, whatever. So, or Jedediah Hewitt, whatever. There's lots of movies that depict him different. But anyway, so it's essentially a fucked up family that lives in this town, runs practically everything, but it's one of those things that it happened in Texas, so it's weird. He uses a chainsaw as his primary weapon, which, in hindsight, guys, every haunted house during Halloween and shit like that uses a chainsaw. You know what I mean? And almost every one of them are Leatherface. So clearly, he's an influence on scare. Normally, Spawn can talk about the Zodiac killer, or we can talk about different killers in general. But when you talk about you know, Ed Gein, Thomas Hewitt, we kind of already know the feeling of like seeing him like face to face. If you went to a haunted house, you would have already kind of gotten that like shock experience with the chainsaw, and you would have heard it and coming at you, and someone acting the part, you can kind of get that feeling of like that gut-wrenching action. You know what I mean, Cooper?
Sure.
And so, alright. So here's kind of my point, right? I personally feel like, and yes, I'm sitting World Wars. It's fun. So, and this is zombie game, so it's kind of like or whatever. But for me personally, Ed Gein, if you look at who he was versus on the screen, I looked up a couple things on the screen just to see kind of how exaggerated it is. So first of all, on the screen his name was Leatherface. He was 6'4", 200 plus pounds. Okay, that's important. So in the movie, a lot of times in horror movies, you can't outrun the killer, right? And can we all agree to that? Like, there's not like you normally can't outrun the killer. That'd be stupid because, I mean, it'd be a dumb movie. So, for me personally, I'm 160, 70 some pounds, maybe 75, 80, I don't know. Somewhere in that, like, 20, 30 range. I haven't weighed myself in a while. But I feel like, let's just say I'm 175. Let's just in the middle. I feel like I could outrun him. I could out-sprint him if he's over 200 pounds. Like, yeah, he is significantly bigger than me, weighs more. If he catches me, probably not going to live that, especially if he's a deranged killer. However, I feel like straight up sprinting, I feel like I could out-sprint him, especially if we're going through, like, woods, or we're going through, like, obstacles, or running through a building, or even running straight forward. I feel like I could definitely outrun him. And for me, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Now, let's look at who he was really.
I agree with the fact that you say you can outrun him, especially if he's carrying a chainsaw with him, because that's going to slow a person down very significantly, you know?
I absolutely agree. And so I made a couple more notes here, and I definitely want your guys' opinion. I'm kind of just going through a couple things. So, all right. So first of all, in the movie, he would have been in his 20s, 30s, something like that, probably 25, 30. So big, young guy, and he's 200 plus pounds, probably not in the best of shape. Whatever. Now, in my personal opinion, I think a 160 person could outrun a 200 person. That's my opinion. Now, in reality, though, let's shape it back to reality. Ed Gein is so fascinating to me, right? Because of who he actually was. This dude was 5'7". Very small. Very, very, very small guy. He was about 160, which is a little bit lighter than me. Now, when he started to actually kill, he was 48 years old. So he was pushing 50. Now, what's interesting about him, right, is we talk about, like, how does somebody bring themselves to be so, like, mentally fucked up and deranged? Well, I mean, it's said that, like, incest was real big in the movie, and you know, after doing some research, it was brought up that sex with his mother would have been probably a thing that happened, and his father was a raging alcoholic. Probably contributed a lot to who he was behind the scenes and behind closed doors. So I feel like that's something to take in consideration about the mindset of him. In the movie, though, there's a scene where whoever it is holding a tire iron, and the chainsaw comes down on the tire iron, and it revs up on it. That would dull the blade, which brings me to my point. I feel like if you were 1v1 with him, the best thing to do would have something like a tire iron and try and catch the blade and like the V of it or whatever, because it's obviously, you know, a plus sign really when you look at it. I feel like if you caught it there, kind of dulled the blade, or even caught it for a second and got to where you could wrestle the chainsaw away from him, because he's so small, it wouldn't be that hard. I mean, realistically, I mean, he's older, He's smaller, doesn't really weigh a ton. You could probably, if you caught the chainsaw on something metal, you could probably wrestle the chainsaw away from him, and at that point it'd be a completely different conversation. So the survivability, I think, of Ed Gein in real life, I feel like would be a lot higher than what the movie depicts. However, I feel like if we're talking about the character itself, like the Ed Gein character in the movie, the 6 foot tall, 200 pound, possibly in his 20s, or I think that would probably be, obviously a little bit harder to outrun, or to defeat, I guess, in terms of like, he's a villain, just defeat him or live him. But I still think that Ed Gein behind the screen, as like the actual person, met him face to face in a scenario where you had to defend for your life or fend for your life. I feel like you could live that if you're quick enough and witted enough. I feel like it wouldn't take a lot to live that. And even so, he admitted to killing females, and he didn't, no males. And I feel like that's for good reason. I feel like if he went against a guy who was his size or bigger, I feel like he would have just gotten his ass whipped. I mean, honestly. Yeah, I mean, and also, something else. When you take a chainsaw and you cut down a tree with it, which is its primary purpose, right? It's a saw, obviously. When you take it and it takes a long time to cut down the tree. Same thing with the human body. I mean, obviously, it would cut through you. Like, it would obviously cut through you and hurt the moment the blades start cutting through. But it would take probably, I would say, anywhere from 5 seconds to 10 seconds to get fully through you. The moment that saw hits you, honestly, a good punch to the face, or a good punch to the jaw, or a good punch to the nose would shatter his shit. And I feel like, although you would be hurt, that saw, he would either drop the saw or take the saw out of you. And I feel like you could wrestle him to the ground that way. I feel like either way, the way to beat him is to wrestle him to the ground. In any case, in the movie, in real life, I feel like that would probably be the best course of action. But I'm curious on like what you guys feel and what you guys think.
Wow.
That's a compelling argument, wasn't it?
I mean, I think that, yeah, I think without the chainsaw, he wouldn't really, like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he wouldn't be a threat without the chainsaw, which is what I said.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't really have a whole lot to disagree with.
Okay. I mean Spawn, I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
I mean, there's not much really that you said that I had room to really disagree with, because I mean most of it was, pretty logical. I mean, let's be real. If somebody's got a chainsaw in their hand, you're not gonna like run towards them. You know what I mean? If somebody's coming after you with a chainsaw, your instincts are gonna be to run away unless you get cornered, and then that's where you're gonna have to fight.
Okay, but at the same time, though, like, I feel like, though, because he's so small, like, he's 5'7" in reality. Like, I'm 5. I don't know how tall you guys are. I'm 5'6". Like, I feel like in that situation, if I was able to wrestle the chainsaw from his hands, with him being 50 and me being in my 20s, I'm almost positive that fight would go in my favor, for sure. Now, I'm not, like, claiming to be some badass, but
it would just depend
I feel
on
like the age difference would be
I feel
big.
like it would just depend on how it would turn out, like, how exactly, like, he would approach it. Because let's say, like, you're approaching him and he automatically points that chainsaw blade right at your neck, you're done. There's no room for you to fight. If you come at him, bro, and like he's got that, like, you're running at him and boom, like, he hits you in the throat with it, you're done. I mean, you can agree to that, right? Like, you're done. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, the thing is, the fact that he's so unkillable in the movies, I feel like is a stretch from the imagination.
Well, yeah, that's how most movies are gonna be, dude. They're gonna want the killer to be, especially horror movies. You're gonna want them to be, basically unkillable. But real life, I feel like I agree with you. I mean, I don't really disagree with anything you're saying. That was a well put argument, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Cuba, my man, you've been kind of
What?
quiet. What's up, man?
Dog, I'm trying to do shit. But, trying to get myself some money. But anyway, shit.
You're good, man. You're good. So, I mean, I kind of put a killer out there and kind of like talked about my thoughts on him, like from a logical standpoint, and then from like the movie standpoint. Like honestly, who do you feel like you know what I mean? Like honestly, I want to hear it because we have things prepped beforehand, and I kind of want to get in your mindset a little bit.
Of like what? Like who I want to talk about?
Yeah.
Alright. I want to talk about fucking Robert Hickman. Have you heard of him?
I have not. Who is that?
Alright, so he was a Canadian serial killer. I wanted to bring him up because nationality.
Okay.
So he was born in British Columbia province, and yeah, he had 6 to 49 victims, very broad range. But yeah, there were 6 that was confirmed to be by him.
Okay.
And so, you know, let's see here. What do I want to bring up with him?
I see you didn't have your facts researched beforehand.
I didn't, dog. I'm trying to get myself some money.
I'll tell you what. I'll talk like you do that. I'm gonna talk about the Zodiac Killer, right? So.
Whoa, that's the one you don't hear often.
What's up, man?
Yeah, that's one you don't hear often, man.
What, the Zodiac Killer?
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
that about?
So, the Zodiac Killer, he struck, mainly, he was in Northern California in like the late 1960s to like early 70s. And, you know, I don't have a name for him, obviously, because it's unknown. He's still potentially out there today, because if you do the math, right, let's say...
What?
Sorry, my controller died.
Yeah.
Let's say,
Yeah,
he,
you're good,
he
man.
was 20, right? Let's say when he was 20 when it
Sure.
first happened, okay? So, he started in the 70s, right? That's 50 years from the 70s to 2020, plus him being 20. So, he could potentially be 70 right now and still be able to kill people. Yeah, I just want to put that out there in your mind. But, basically, what he was, is he was a killer who had confessed to 37 murders. And the reason I say confess is not confessing to the police or anything like that, like a person. It's he sent letters to the news publishers, right? And
Okay.
he sent details about his killings and stuff. And you know, like you're probably thinking, okay, but why would they publish that? Well, he threatened if the news publishers did not publish what he wanted them to, that he was going to go on a murderous rampage. So, in the newspapers and stuff, he confessed to 37 murders. The police can only verify 7 of those 37. So 30 of those people that he confessed about killing are like not found. The remains and stuff are still out there.
So I'm just... You're talking about the Zodiac.
Yeah, the Zodiac Killer.
I'm just gonna...
What, you got some information on the Zodiac Killer here?
No, I just want to pull the shit up just so I can kind of see with my eyes as well as hear with my ears, you know? Just kind of see where he's
Okay.
at.
Yeah,
That's-
keep going, Spawn.
But yeah, I mean, just the thought of a killer, right? Like, let's say he's a serial killer, because I mean that's what he is. He confessed to 37, and that's when he started to like execute. So you know, when killers are like that, they kill animals and they kill stuff before they actually get their. I don't want to sound like a creep or anything, but they have signatures. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
so,
They have
like,
their own style.
if he confessed to like 37, just imagine there could be 50. Devin, and the fact that he's still out there and could still be killing, that's kind of scary, man. On the.
But what are his
Okay.
killings though?
What do you mean?
Like, is he even alive still?
They don't
You know
know.
what I mean?
He could be.
He
that's what
was
he's
he was
saying.
never caught. He's unknown.
How old
Yeah.
was he? When did these killings
No-
happen?
no-
When is this?
Oh, okay. So, you missed the first end of the conversation. So, like I was saying, it was in the late 1960s, early 70s. So, let's say, like I was telling Crook, let's say he was 20, right? Like we'll put that's if someone's gonna kill him. So, 1970s to 2020, that's 50 years plus the age that he was 20. That means he's 70 years old right now. So he could
Do you-
very well still be
do you
alive
think
and
it's-
very well still be killing.
Do you think a 7-year-old would be killing, like, alive?
You think if
okay,
Ed
I don't
Ed
know.
Gein was 77. His last kill was when he was 77.
Okay.
I mean, there's.
So
I'm
it
not
really
sure
just
the
boils
details of his
down-
killing. I'm not sure like what weapons he used or something like that. But you think of if a man, no matter the age, let's say 70 or 35, it's holding like a gun in his hand pointing at you, like from point blank range. You think you're gonna like not cooperate with him? I mean, there's not much you can do. He'll shoot you.
yeah. Get
So-
on him, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, I want to talk about the fact that he's still alive. That's kind of scary. Just food for thought, man. He could be your neighbor. Just saying.
I agree with you. That's cool. That's interesting to think about. What do you think about the practicalities of like meeting him face to face? You think like the average guy could take him?
I mean, but that's so. Like, it depends on how big he is. We don't know what he looks like, how big he is. Anything like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
So-
okay, so actually I didn't know this. So, apparently
news, everybody.
there was people that he wasn't able to kill, that he only injured them. So there's sketches and stuff of this man.
Okay.
Is what I'm looking at
Do we
now.
have said sketch?
Sure.
That's what I'm
But
trying
yeah,
to find out.
I'm looking at a sketch right now. It's got
Yeah.
this nice set of glasses on. You could put. See, that's the thing with the sketch, right? Like, sure, it's a really good sketch,
here,
but it,
here,
like,
when he
there's
was
a lot
in
of
his
people that
prime,
look like that.
let's say like prime. I know that's a bad word to use. So like in his 25 to like 30 years old, right? He was a white male, 25 to 30 years old when he started killing, and he was about 5'8" to 5'9", and he had like a stocky build, and he usually wore dark clothing and glasses. So a 5'8", 5'9" man, right? It's pretty short. So, fist to fist, man. I feel like a lot of people would take him.
There we go. There we have it, folks. Okay. That's interesting. It's an interesting thought. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Huber, thoughts? I want to know.
Okay,
or not
okay.
thoughts, but like who's
So
talking
sorry,
about?
I'm not trying to interrupt you, but the Zodiac killer, his weapon of choice was a simple handgun. So I was right talking about a handgun.
Oh, that's a bitch weapon.
Yeah.
It
Anybody's
is,
killing you with a handgun.
Okay.
But his
so,
his like first two victims were just both teenagers.
so
It was
that's another bitch.
I'm gonna talk about-
it was a high school couple on their first date.
Ooh, that's tough.
that's tough. Anyway, so my guy here,
Well, I
Robert,
guess I should. Sorry, I'm not. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'll end on this. It wasn't just their first date; it was also the last, I guess, huh?
Ooh.
Damn.
Ooh.
Anyway,
All right,
Talk about
Robert,
date
so
gone
yeah,
wrong.
Robert
You chose.
Hickton, right? You might have heard of him.
Okay.
But you know, he did have like a name, if you will. His name was a pig farmer killer. Does that ring any bells either?
Absolutely not, because I'm not Canadian.
Fantastic. So this guy, he was, I guess you could say he was more of a woman killer,
That doesn't shock me.
and he liked to do stuff with the bodies after.
That doesn't shock me. Typical Canadian. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Only trolling you. Keep going.
All right.
Sorry,
so,
sorry, I'm back. That really doesn't describe shock me. The fact that he does something with the bodies after. That's like a typical Canadian move.
It is a Canadian move.
All right. So
he didn't
swiftly
even
along.
acknowledge.
So he was like a, you know, everyone kind of described him as like almost like a creepy guy, just the way that he was always. I would like to think of him as almost like a lurking type of guy, and the reason that he had that nickname is because he owned a pig farm. So apparently the pig farm was kind of like creepy looking place too, or so I'm told. And you know, he didn't like talk a lot. He was generally a more quiet, reserved type of guy. And he battled with substance abuse. So that could be a part of the reason. But he admitted to, let me get the exact number so I don't 49 murders. That's what he said he did. Although they only have found 6 bodies of the 49 that he admitted to.
Wow.
So there's that. And he got a 20-year. He only got 20 years. Which I guess is a lot, but
I mean, you guessed. 20 years is a long time, bro.
I know, but think about it
Wait,
this way.
how many
He's
kills?
outright.
How many kills?
He admitted to 49. They found 6 bodies of.
Yeah,
But
so
only
you're
6,
telling me
yeah.
you're telling me so he killed 6 people and only got 20 years in prison.
Correct, yeah.
So if you
But
kill
if most of them are
no.
women, he's not lasting in prison. He's gonna die in
wait, so
What if I
kill
told you
6
that
pe-
he
wait,
is
hold
a
up.
free man as we speak?
So if you kill 6 people, you only go to prison for 20 years?
Apparently in Canada.
No, that's not typically how that
I'll be right
works.
back.
But in Canada, probably with their phony laws.
Anyway, so yeah, he's 71 years old right now.
Okay.
His first murder was in '83. And
Is he
was
really a free
killing
man right now?
people.
Or are you trolling me?
I look it up. He is a free man. I'll give you the exact date on when his trial was and whatnot, and then it was 20 years. Okay, no, I guess he's not. Wait. Pleaded not guilty. On March 2nd.
Was 2012 and was released into the public December 17th.
Yep, free man. See, that is a what? That's a 6-year. He spent 6 years in prison, and he killed that many people. He is walking around British Columbia as we speak. Free man, nothing. You know when his trial was? January. His trial began on January 30th, 2006.
Yo, that's actually kind of spooky on some real shit. It is super, super spooky.
So yeah, and think about that though. January 30th, 2006. How short is that that he was in prison, considering how many people he killed. Right? So that's something kind of interesting that I just want to point out.
Pennywise 4523 subscribe. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Supreme Court.
Bro.
So yeah, this was in. So here's what really gets me too.
Hold on, pause, bro. That's awesome. Thank you. You subscribed with a $2. No. Yeah, $2.50 subscription. That's awesome, bro. Let's go.
Thanks a lot for that.
Right,
but anyway, you know what really is kind of scary about this, if you will?
What?
This trial was held in the Supreme Court of Canada. The Supreme Court. That is the highest level that we have in Canada. And you know how long he's been in prison? 6 years. 6. Kind of interesting.
So, wow. I don't even
And he
know
got
what to say about
20
that. Wow.
murder charges. 20 murder charges. Spent 6 years in prison. 6.
Okay, I'm not saying you have your information or anything false, bro, but something seems a little,
Bro,
how you say corrupt.
Croak is looking up right now.
It's true.
No,
It's
I
true,
hear it,
man.
but
Everything you said is true.
the information just isn't adding up. 20 kills, or 6 kills, right? 6 kills, just 20 years? Just,
Bro,
that's
he's
like...
6 years.
Only
He
6,
was out
okay.
Yeah.
in
I
So-
kill a year, bro.
So,
Okay,
families
they
of the
charged him with
missing and
20
murdered
counts
women.
of murder. 20 counts of murder. They can only find 6 bodies,
Well-
however.
Well, yeah, I got to put up here. So it says families of the missing and murdered women have been calling for public hearings since Pickerton was arrested, eventually convicted of 6 murders. Commissioned final report submission to the Attorney General was dated November 19th, 2012, and was released to the public on December 17th.
And it's in the
Yeah.
Supreme Court, too, which... I don't know if you know about
Yeah,
that,
he's-
but that's
He's a free
high
guy
up.
walking around.
Yep.
100%. He's a free dude. Wow. Wow. Could you imagine running into that guy, though?
What's his name?
His name is
Wow.
Robert Picton.
Could you imagine
And
that?
he went, and his thing, like his murderer name was the Pig Farmer Killer.
Wow. Dude, that's... Whew. I don't even know how to feel about that.
Kind of a interesting thing, eh?
Oh, man. I don't...
Okay, that's not right.
So,
And the
that's
thing
not
with
right.
this, too, though.
That's not right. He's not a free man. Picton was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years, the longest sentence for murder under Canadian law at the time he was sentenced.
It said he was free. Hold on. Let's go back.
It
Let's
said,
double
no,
check this. Maybe,
when you
maybe
were
we did
reading
get it wrong.
the report was released to the public. That's what you're reading. The report was released to the public in 2012.
Robert Pickerton, prison sentence. Let me see here.
His penalty is life imprisonment. So he's not.
Oh yeah. We did read it wrong. The report came public.
Okay.
I had to reread it. The
Yeah.
report came public.
I'm not trying to prove you
Okay.
guys
The
wrong.
sentence.
It just didn't seem like correct. Like it wasn't adding up for me, man. The fact that he killed, even if it's just 6 people, only like 20 years just for 6 people, bro. And then 20 people, bro. Like that just didn't add up to me, bro. That like
80. Listen to this. During his trial, lab staff tested about 80 unidentified DNA profiles. Oh, so it wasn't just females. It was half male and female. In his trailer, they found... Okay.
Yeah. I read it at the
22
surface.
22 revolver with a... I'm not gonna say that word. Over the barrel. Oh, why? I want to bring it down, but it had he had something. I don't know how to describe this without. You know, I'm gonna show you guys. Just read the part that's kind of this.
What?
You see what's kind of highlighted?
Oh,
No,
he had a
I don't
dildo,
know.
bro.
I couldn't read it. What's over it?
He had under his gun.
He had what under his
I
gun?
get
Like,
it
point
now.
to it. Point to it. I don't see it.
The part that's highlighted, dog.
All I see is the barrel and the round fire. That's all I see.
Okay.
Oh,
Well-
okay.
So
I got you.
do you?
Talk about double penetration, am I right?
Oh god. So yeah, he had that attached to his 22 revolver.
So, this is interesting. I wanted you guys to look this up because actually it was interesting, but that's not why I pulled you guys together here today. So, here's the real reason why. Because this podcast is mainly about a conversation between our opinions. So, with all that being said, from everything from the ladder, from Spawn correcting the information, which I'm glad you did, which even I was wrong, which whatever, to, Ed Gein, movies made after him, seemingly unkillable, to Robert Pickerton, who, was just, let's all agree that he's a garbage human being and he should probably just be executed. And then all the way to killers who haven't even been found, so it could speculate that it could be a lot of people, one people, an organization, whatever, of the Zodiac. But all that coming back, I want to talk to you about one thing, which is the whole reason I wanted to talk to you about it, which is the label of gonna be the video when I upload it. Exorcism. So weird. That's weird. But so there's tons of movies about exorcism, and there's tons of things about it. Now, the main thing here that I wanted to bring up, right, was when we talk about these evil people, we talk for example, like school shooters, right? School shooters are described as people who are normal one day and then they just snap. And then that snap, they kill a bunch of innocent people for whatever reason. Now, that is super unfortunate, and those guys are terrible people, and women, whatever, are terrible people that do that. However, here's some, I guess, food for thought. For, a lot of people say that, they snapped, or somebody who's familiar with the legal system like myself, I can tell you that a real plea in court, first of all, that I've heard more than once, and get ready for it, is temporary insanity. Yes. Temporary insanity, you can look it up if you want to. It is argued that somebody who, for example, takes meth is not themselves in that point in time, or when somebody is really angry, or when somebody is under the influence of, say, PCP, or some kind of drug, hard drug, they're not themselves, right? So temporary insanity is something that's pled, and if you talk to therapists and shrinks and things like that, they all back it that there is a such thing as temporary insanity. Now, with that being said, with temporary insanity, there's got to be insanity itself, right? So, talking about someone is mentally insane, if we think about villains, right, like the Joker. The Joker is somebody who was mentally insane. In the Batman series, he was somebody who laughed at everything. He had no problem killing. He, played jokes that were deadly jokes. He was able to get the shit kicked out of him by Batman multiple times, and he just laughed. And one could argue that Joker is mentally insane. So I guess the difference that I'm trying to establish, right, is could there be temporary insanity? Could there be actual insanity? Could you one day snap from being, for example, Cuber? Could Cuber one day just snap and be a school shooter? I don't know. I mean, it's a
Talking
weird.
about American.
It's a weird. There's school shootings that happen in Canada,
I
but there's there's weird, I don't know, there's weird like psychological things. So going back to it, let's reel it back. If you're religious, right? Or what it says in the Bible, that demons and angels walk among us. Exorcist or exorcism or whatever you want to call it, right, is the process of extracting a demon from your body that it possessed you, I guess you could say. Now, what I want to bring up is let's say a demon possessed somebody, whoever, right? Let's just use an example. Whoever you want. Do you think that serial killers, for whatever reason, you name it, whoever, Robert Pickerton, Zodiac Killer, Ed Gein, whoever, do you think that they were possibly possessed by a demon? Or do you think that they were possibly temporary insane? Do you think that they took some kind of pill that made them insane? And I also talked about how Ed Gein had, an abusive father or an alcoholic father who was obviously abusive. I talked about how, his mom and him had sexual relations, so incest. So it's already like a fucked up family. And I know that Hubert talked a little bit about like the backstory about Robert Pickerton, about like, just the backstory about it. Like the fact that he sexually assaulted women when they were, after they were dead, right? Necrophilia. We talk about like their mindset. Do you think, like, do you think that it's possible that these were?
I don't think.
You don't think it's possible?
I believe these are just genuinely evil people, dude. I do.
You think so? You think you're born evil?
I don't. Nobody's born evil. Okay. I feel like people just become that because, I mean, when you really go into, like, let's take the show Criminal Minds, right? Which the whole focus of the show is for them to be able to try to get inside their head and predict what's going to happen, right? And I believe that these people are just evil people, or I'm not saying they're born evil, but some people are born with like urges, right? So like some of these people just have the urge to kill, right? And some people take that out like hunters. They enjoy killing. They enjoy killing animals, right? Like that's their passion. They like killing animals. Some people don't channel it into like that. They channel it into people. That's the problem.
Okay. So
can
I knew you were gonna make that point. What? Go ahead, Cuber. Go ahead.
So here's my point of view on it. And here's something that I don't really want to plug anything, but I kind of like. If you're interested in this shit, there's this show. It's called Mindhunter. You should check it out. 'Cause it's like some really interesting shit. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I think that there are some people that are definitely mentally ill, and that's a part of the reason. I don't think everyone. I think some of them just have a. I can't compare it because I don't. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense, right?
I agree. I mean, I believe that there's some people that are mentally insane. I mean, obviously there are people like that in the world, and I believe that could be a reason some people kill because they have delusions and stuff, or the voices tell them to do it, But I do believe that, and like Zodiac Killer, bro, I just believe he's just an evil person, and he just enjoys killing. I don't think there's a demon possessing him, or he takes a pill, or he's delusional. I think he's just evil.
I mean, I want to just clear it up. I'm not saying, just like how Kuber got on me about apparently writing the goddamn Wikipedia for the Pusher. I'm not saying that I believe it. I'm saying that, like, we talk about temporary insanity, actual insanity, evil person. I know Spawn said something about, like, he was genuinely evil. Like, I mean, are you born evil? You have evil intentions. I mean, here's a really good example. And I honestly, I want you to debate me on this because I want to hear your opinion. Have you guys seen the show Dexter?
No. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Have you seen the show Dexter, Spawn?
Like the cartoon?
No.
No,
I know what he's talking
the
about.
TV show Dexter.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, I think.
It's
Oh, no.
I know what it's about.
Okay.
I know it's like a cop that
Okay.
is like trying
Let
to...
me fill you in. Dexter, the whole series, first of all, newsflash spoiler, Dexter, the whole series, is about a serial killer. Dexter himself is a serial killer. He's somebody who, as you describe in comics, as an anti-hero. For example, Deadpool. Deadpool's an anti-hero. But anyway, so Dexter he's a police officer. He's a blood forensics guy. He analyzes blood splatter statistics to show.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
So it shows
like a
like
vengeance
how
killer.
he was killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like how it was killed, like the slash, what angle, and so Dexter kills serial killers, and so he's kind of an anti-hero, but at the same time, like in Dexter's mind, first of all, like when he does it throughout the series, it's elaborate. Like when he kills a serial killer, he'll kind of torture him a little bit. He'll kind of badger him. Like like for example, the Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy was somebody who killed and then stole somebody's specific tooth, and like he had a whole jar of teeth or whatever, and he was known as the Tooth Fairy, right? Or Tooth Fairy killer or whatever. So when he had caught him, he had taped him to a chair and basically just mocked him. That he was somebody who he looked up to when he was a kid, but he found him, and this, all he has is a list of, or just trophies in a box or whatever. And Dexter, he takes a blood sample of whatever and puts it on a vial and puts it in like a case. That's his trophy case. But every killer has this trophy case. That Dexter, throughout the series, is a good guy technically. Like, he's a cop who is helping solving crime, and obviously he's good at it because he's a serial killer. But at the same time, like,
He's
he
a fucking
knows,
serial.
like, he's smart. Like, he's a smart guy, but like he goes out of his way to kill serial killers, chop them up, and put them at the bottom of
It's
the bay.
like one of those things that are like, there's arguments on both sides because it's a vengeance killer where they take the law into their own hands, which they're a good guy, but they're a bad guy because they're a killer. It's that argument. But yeah, I get what you're talking about.
I don't know. I think that like I don't know. I think that I'm not religious. I'm not religious at all. At all. But one of the stories, one of my really, really good friends, her name's Connie. Connie took a picture of her brother sitting down a while ago, probably 7 or so years ago, and he was across the room. And when she had taken the picture on her phone, she's probably about 20 feet away, and she keeps the photo because she swears she sees a demon when she looks at him. And I saw the photo. I know, it's so strange. Like, I might get her on the podcast one day so she can explain it. But
Sure.
it's so strange. Like, he's just sitting down in the like couch, and he's kind of leaning forward and looking at her. His eyes is like lit up like he hit a flash or something, but they're like yellowish, reddish, and like he's kind of like a smile, and it's kind of like an unnormal smile. It's kind of like a forced smile. It's super weird and super strange, and it made me like reevaluate, like, is there demons? Like, and if there is, in different exorcism movies or exorcist movies, like in the Exorcism of Emily Rose or The Conjuring or you name it, like The Exorcist, Pazuzu was a demon who was the Reagan. He controlled Reagan. Or in The Conjuring, Lucifer. He said the demon's name was Lucifer when he was exorcised.
Have you heard?
Or
This is like kind of off topic ish, But it's a
What?
boat.
Good.
Have you guys heard about the Sally house at all?
No, what is it?
It's apparently a house that is like haunted by a demon.
Haunted by a demon. Okay.
And like some weird shit happens there. Let me just pull up.
Well, yeah, pull that up and get all the information on it while I'm going over this, so that way you can.
Since you're talking
fully
about
load
demons,
it.
okay? Here's my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Like this could tie into how I was telling that they're evil people. I believe that there's evil in this world, and I believe that it can. Not, I don't want to use the word transform, but it can. I'm trying to think of the word I'm using. Basically, it can show up in different forms. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, it can be, as people say, paranormal activity, but I believe that there's evil in this world, and it can come into many different forms, whether that's making people evil, but it's like, it's not just temporary is what I'm saying. I think, like, once that evil attaches to that person, like, there's no going back. You can't be good once you're that evil. Like, you know what I'm saying? I believe that...
it corrupts you?
Yeah, exactly. I believe that that's how evil works, man. I believe that if people are evil, like, they're actually evil. Like there's no good. There's just evil.
Well, I think it's interesting, right? Because, like, here's a question that I want you guys to answer. To not like, don't giggle and laugh. I want to know. Like, this is a serious conversation. If, let's say anybody, let's say your brother, let's say Nick, or let's say anybody was truly possessed by the devil, like truly possessed, like eyes black, right in front of you, in your face, like a couple feet from you, what would you say to him? If you ask this person and you're like, who are you? And he just said Lucifer, what would you say to him? Like, think about that. Really, what would you say to him?
I don't know. I feel like I'd be speechless. I wouldn't have anything to say. I just...
You know what I'd say?
Freeze.
What?
I'd be like, see you in hell.
I mean, he's a demon. He wouldn't die.
No, but it would,
Oh, okay. This kind of freaked me out for a second.
I don't know, I just kind of want to shoot my brother. I'm just kidding.
So I'm reading up on the Sally House just to try and kind of, like, see where we're at with it. But the people that owned it had the last name Pickman, and I thought it was the fucking same last name as that one guy, but it's not. Anyway.
Alright, but no, seriously, if there was somebody possessed by a demon right in front of you, and they were, like in the movie The Exorcist or whatever, and if they were tied down to a bed, like literally, like they could not get you at all, they were like bound and could not get you, and it was literally Satan on the other side of that conversation, what would you say to him? Like,
what would I say to
your
Satan?
immediate question? Yeah, like if he was like, if you were in that situation and he was bound, he couldn't do anything about it, but he was stuck inside this body, but he admitted, I'm Lucifer, and eyes are black, everything was like, what would you say to him? What would be your immediate question?
Can I be immortal?
No, I would...
Would that really be it? That'd be spooky.
Think about it.
That's
Think
some of the
about it.
spookiest shit Spawn's ever said. That is some spooky shit, bro. That is spooky. Someone clip that.
I'd ask
Someone
him
clip that.
what is his purpose.
That's what you would ask him?
Mm-hmm.
What is his purpose?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I would say, but that's interesting.
I mean, I might get possessed for it, but that'd be fun anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
So,
I'll tell you what I would ask him, if I had the devil right in front of me and he admitted he was Lucifer, my immediate question would be this. It would be like wordy, but I would say, if you're Lucifer and you're here in front of me, does God really exist? I would ask him straight up. I would ask him. Why? I mean, I would ask him, legit. Right there would be your answer. If the devil exists, why wouldn't God exist? You know what I mean?
Alright. So here, do you mind if I start?
That's it. That's all you got to say on that. You got nothing, bro.
Like, I don't know. Like, that. What do you say to that? You know what I mean? See where I'm at?
Yeah, bro. I don't know. Spawn, you looking a little creepy out there,
So,
man.
I'm gonna talk about this fucking house here. So first of all, I wanna put out my like thing about paranormal activity in general. I believe that it probably is real to a certain extent, but I'm not like fighting scared of anything like that. What are your guys' views?
He's got to protect his man card, everyone. He's got to protect his man card. It's real. But I'm not scared of it, bro.
No,
I'll fight these motherfuckers, bro.
Share it, you dog. Like, come
Bro.
on. Anyway, so here's the story behind it. The house was built like it's an old house, right? And one girl, her name was Sally, and she was 6 years old. She lived in the house.
I'm losing wood. Let's go.
And she, God damn it, now you got me off track. And she was gonna have surgery in a few days. And all of a sudden, she just falls to the ground, grasps her stomach, so they think her appendix broke, and she died on the kitchen table. Okay, so there's the backstory for you guys.
Okay.
But now, it is in 1993 is when this kind of like really started going like out there, if you will. So, you know, a young couple moved into the house. You know, they liked it, cheap, you know, good enough. Move in, and the first thing that happened was like just kind of there was lights always flickering, and then it started progressing to where one night the lights were off, and then it turned on, so they went to go check in the room, and because they had a young child, a baby, and all of these plushes were arranged in one circle. So they were just all arranged in one circle. All these plush dolls.
You want to hear? I don't mean to stop you. You want to hear a story?
Sure.
So, we used to have a cat named Gizmo, and Gizmo ended up getting her paw really, really hurt one of these days, or it was a while ago. It's like a year and some change ago, and so he had just bought a mask offline or whatever, and it was a Goosebumps mask. Now, the Goosebumps mask, it was the haunted whatever mask, so that's why he bought it. And when it got here, fishy shit started happening. I was hard to sleep. I kept like seeing people. Like I woke up like ready to fight somebody. I was like for me, I'm a pretty mellow person. Like I don't try to like fight anybody. I'm a pretty mellow guy, I like to think, but they're like my fight or flight kicked in or whatever, and there's some fishy stuff that happened.
Okay, so what can I ask you in your point of view in the paranormal?
I want to end the stream in 5 minutes, but I'll give you a brief thing. My idea of the paranormal, I think ghosts are not real. I don't think ghosts are real. I think it's your brain. It's your brain playing tricks on your eyes. And here's kind of how I feel that way. Have you ever read something that didn't read that? Like, have you ever looked at something real quick and then looked back, and you could have swore that said something completely different? Like, maybe it says swamp, but instead it was like sweat. You're like, oh, it's Sweat Street. Swamp. That's Swamp Street. Like, you, like, your brain, like, your eyes looked at that, and your brain told you what to think, obviously, and it just clicked real quick. I think the same thing is with with ghosts. I think that you look at something and your brain registers and it tells your eyes what to think. Like, honestly, that's what I think. But honestly, if I'm being real with you, I'm not gonna tell you how or why. I haven't even told Nick this. I have 100%, 100% came in contact with, I believe that was somebody that was possessed, and I could definitively prove it on paper on why I felt that way. And if that person was standing in front of you, yeah, see, Sasha just ran from it.
What's up?
You would. So.
So, yeah. Maybe next
yeah.
stream we can start to do like something paranormal. Trying.
That's it right there. That's the mask.
Where?
That's the mask that when he first bought it, a lot of paranormal shit
I can't
started
even
happening.
see it. It's like cut off screen. I can see an ear. Oh, okay. There we go. Alright.
Get it away from me, please. So, I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to talk about this. I'm not gonna tell the story, but I will say this. I have 100% come in contact with somebody who I legit, like, you know me. I'm not smiling, laughing, like, giggling, like, this is me serious. I can 100% without certainty, or without uncertainty, and with all seriousness, believe that that person was possessed. And I believe that, I think that my life choices led that there. And maybe I'm wrong, but it's just how that person looked at me, emotionless, the way they talked. They knew, like, I'll say this, because I need to wrap this up. I'll say this. The person knew some details about me that I had never shared with anybody. Not even my own family, not best friends, not even Nick, like, nobody. Like, nobody knows the kind of secrets that that person knew about me, and they just knew it. And they were plain-faced. They were just, like, it's the reason, if I'm being honest with you, it's the reason why I don't watch The Exorcist, Exorcism of Emily Rose, or The Conjuring. Like, I've seen parts and bits of The Conjuring, and when it got to her in the basement, and, like, underneath the thing or whatever, and they revealed it to be that possessed demon, I turned it off immediately. Because I feel like, I don't know if serial killers are possessed by somebody, but I think there's some merit to what Spawn said. I think that maybe there is something that makes you temporarily evil, and then maybe makes you permanently evil. Maybe. I don't know.
So yeah, I think I don't know what we'll do the next podcast, but I think it'd be cool if we do something about paranormal.
I mean, so what I want to try to do is I want to try and make it. I want to try to get a backlog of about 5 of them. We have, obviously, that's the 3rd one. I'm gonna release the next one. So I released it yesterday, I believe. I'm gonna try to do it every 3 days. Every 3 days a new podcast happens, and I want to get a backlog of them. That way, the first, like, 5 or 6 that we do, honestly, are gonna get better in quality, but like they're gonna get better edits, they're gonna get better flashy stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But that's kind of, so I would like to do one tomorrow. Hell, I would even like to do one either Christmas Eve or on Christmas. I would like to do something about that. Like, I don't know. I like paranormal. I like the paranormal, and I like the idea of the paranormal. And
Does it? So yeah, I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say either. Alright, so I'm gonna drop the stream. Wham bam. Oh, Spawn wants to say something.
Good.
Good night, man.